Welcome to Magic Arcanum. I'm Ryan Gomez. Behind the scenes is Nicole Burdick, and we're so glad you're here because it's story time. Outlaws of Thunder Junction will be upon us soon, and it was supposed to have its own epilogue set, very similar to the poorly received March of the Machine, the Aftermath release of last year. So that got me to revisit the Aftermath because clearly the game's designers expected this experiment to work and had made plans to repeat it in the future. I wanted to see if there was anything of value left in this mini expansion before it gets truly buried in the avalanche of new cards coming with Thunder Junction, which brings me to the question. Can we get blood from the stone that is March of the Machine, the Aftermath? A few cards from here have already seen standard play, stuff like Coppercoat Vanguard, which you will find in budget-aggressive white decks, for example. But as I looked through everything Aftermath had to offer, I realized there's basically a whole deck in here already, and actually it looks pretty sweet. It all starts with this guy, Karn, Legacy Reforged, who is one of the more valuable cards in the set, but we can add him to our collection on Arena for just a couple of mythic wildcards. Now, Karn is a big artifact creature who cares about you controlling more big artifacts, so let's go find him some big artifacts. Reckless Handling, also from the Aftermath, can pull any artifact we want out of our deck, albeit with some risk, because we might accidentally discard whatever we just picked up. That's actually not a problem, though, because we also have access to Campus Renovation, which can return an artifact of any size from our graveyard to the battlefield. So, in many ways, we actually want to be discarding our big, expensive artifacts, right? Right. So, what is the best thing we can put into our graveyard or play along with Karn? I like Cityscape Leveler from the Brothers' War. It turns Karn into an 8/8, and if it winds up in our graveyard, that's fine because it can unearth itself or be brought back cheaply with Campus Renovation. The rest of the deck is about sculpting our hand and stocking our graveyard. Scrapwork Mutt works great for this. It's also an artifact itself, so it will create mana while Karn is in play. Novice Inspector and Voldaran Epicure both make artifact tokens that we can sacrifice to demand answers to draw more cards. And oh yeah, I forgot about the best line this deck has. Check out Harnessed Snubhorn, also from March of the Machine, the Aftermath. Whenever it deals combat damage to a player, you get to return an artifact from your graveyard to the battlefield. So yeah, that Cityscape Leveler that we rummaged away with our Scrapwork Mutt earlier, let's put that into play on turn 4 if we drop an early Iron Crag to ramp ourselves here a bit. You're probably going to want some board wipes like Brotherhood's End to keep you alive against the Boros Convoke decks, but otherwise, you're in pretty good shape for Standard. You've got a lot of card draw and filtering, and you've got some huge threats that you can get out early. And thanks to Unearth, many of them can even attack right out of the graveyard. Just watch out for Sunfall, you know? Anyway, can we get blood from a stone? That's the question. And I think the answer here is yes. March of the Machine, the Aftermath, supplied 4 cards that worked really well together and made what I think is a pretty compelling deck. And that kind of surprised me. But as always, I am curious what you think. Can Karn squeeze some juice from this lemon of a set? Let me know in the comments. And hey, while you're down there, do me a favor and click on my link for TCG Home, the sponsor of this video. TCG Home is a free web-based app that helps me organize my entire card collection with these handy customizable tags, which lets me find diamonds in the rough. You can track card prices, or look up Oracle text, or just flip cards back and forth all day. It's a lot of fun. Remember, it's totally free and super easy to sign up and use, so go ahead and check out TCG Home using my link down below. Then make sure you like this video and subscribe to the channel so you don't miss the great stories you'll only find here on Magic Arcanum. We'll see ya. You're still here. Do you want to see my Karn deck in action? All right, just don't tell Nicole. Okay, here we go. Karn's Big Dig, as I call it. Let's see if we can kill someone with a cityscape leveler. We've got reckless handling, some scrap work mutts, campus renovation. I like it. Let's see if we make this work. Opponent with the Boros cards, well, Lorehold card sleeves, I guess. Not sure if that's what they're actually playing. We'll soon find out. Okay, Slumbering Keep Guard. So maybe an enchantment kind of a thing going on here. I think I like Ironcrag. Get ourselves some early extra mana. Basically Soul Ring for standard. No, not really. Not really. Alright, opponent black and white, so their sleeves are somewhat misleading. Second Slumbering Keep Guard means our Brotherhood's end is looking pretty good. And they put a roll token on it, a wicked roll, rather. And that's going to get them some scry triggers. Very nice, very nice. Alright, first we're going to use our Scrapwork Mutt. Discard the other Mutt. Pick up a Novice Inspector. Actually, I like going Reckless Handling here. And grabbing a Cityscape Leveler. And if we discard it, darn it, we would have been able to Campus Renovation it back on turn 4 thanks to Ironcrag, but we still got time. We still got time. This is an aggressive deck, probably, but we're not under lethal pressure just yet. Opponent attacks with their 4. Well, I think we're actually okay. Fifth land. So now we play our Scrapwork Mutt. Discard that leveler. Draw another Ironcrag. Doesn't really help us. So I think we'll unearth the other Scrapwork Mutt. And we'll discard our extra copy of the legendary Ironcrag. Try to get into 4 here. Alright. Unfortunately, we have to say goodbye to our Mutts. Alright, so now we basically need to survive 2 turns, because next turn we get Leveler out, but it won't have haste or anything. And then the turn after that we can start attacking with it, which can destroy anything that they play, really. Pretty great, pretty great. I love it. Opponent might just be stuck on 3 lands here, although they're still putting together a pretty impressive board. They find another swamp, alright. And we just play a 2/3 Menacing Witch. Fine with that. Alright, so we pick up Karn. Our Battlefield Forge. We use Campus Renovation. Bring back Cityscape Leveler. And so, unfortunately, this guy has, when you cast this spell, or whenever it attacks, destroy up to 1 target non-land permanent. And since we didn't really cast it out of our graveyard, Campus Renovation just puts it onto the battlefield from the graveyard. We don't get to destroy something the first turn, but if they don't have an answer to this right now, we get to start picking their board apart. I mean, the scariest thing is probably Ossification or something that would fit great in their enchantment deck. Alright, and so at most they're getting in for like 5 or 6 here because this has Menace, but if they attack with like this 4/4, we could just eat that. Okay. Well, 5 damage does hurt. I think we take out Tail for the Ages? See what they want to do about that. They just take 8 damage. Okay. And then I think we play Karn. And maybe even use this Demand Answers Guess we could just discard this extra mountain. Alright, so if we live through this turn, Brotherhood's End pretty much locks this game up, so we just gotta not take 8 damage here, and we have an 8/8 Karn to block. Areas. Interesting, so that's gonna drain us for 3 at the end of the turn. Oh no. So if we take 5 here, we're done. Oh gosh, this is so close. Why, game? Why? We were doing it. We got our leveler out. We got Karn out. Well, let's see. If we block that, we take 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and then Ariad's gonna drain us. Is that the end step, though? Oh my god. And they just pumped their keep guard. That was brutal, but we were so close. Let's try another one. Alright, here we are, back with Karn, and we've got some 1-drops, plenty of lands. I think we can make this work. We'll open with the inspector here, get a clue. Opponent plays mountain and pass. Interesting. Alright, get in for a point of damage, send it back. Red-green is the opponent's deck here. Glimpse the core. Search your library for basic forest. Put it on the battlefield. Doing a little bit of ramp. Alright. I think we ditch the mountain. Okay. Alright, so we are holding a Dusk Rose Reliquary, another artifact that I'm experimenting with as like my removal spell in here. When we cast it, we gotta sacrifice an artifact or a creature. Well, we've got the clue token. And then this just exiles whatever they... Slime, okay. Well, in that case, I think we're just gonna draw. Reckless handling. Well, I guess it's worth reckless. What do we want here? Do I just want to play Karn? A leveler? We don't really have any way to intentionally discard the leveler. Maybe it's Mightstone? Let's try that. Of course, that's what we end up discarding. Okay. Yeah, I think we just pass. I mean, we can get the Mightstone back with our campus renovation if we want to go that route. We're going to get drowned out by these slimes here. I think we take this block. And then bring back our stone. And then do we kill this slime or draw 2 more cards? I think we need more cards here, right? Ironcrag? Sure. Okay, so they're at 14, we're at 20. We've got a ton of mana to work with. Next turn we get to play Karn. And they're just dropping slimes. I mean, fortunately a 5/5 Karn holds off quite a bit of slime, if I'm being honest. No block on that one. Inspector. Alright, so we want land. We want Karn. We're not going to turn Ironcrag into a sword. I think I want to play this mutt. Discard. Draw. Demand answers. I think we play the other reliquary. Sacrifice our mutt, because we can play that again out of the graveyard. And we'll get rid of that 4. 4/4 slime and attack for 1. I don't know. Big score. They discard another slime against humanity. Okay. Cool. They didn't play another one. Alright, so we just have a ton of mana. So I kind of like playing Inspector. Demand answers, and since we locked away a token, we don't need to necessarily keep our reliquary. Okay, still have a ton of mana left. I think we can mutt, discard our extra Iron Crag, pick the land, play land. Demand answers. Sacking blue. Alright, we found levelers. Plural. Daddy likes. I guess we can just kind of keep shuffling cards around here. Alright, attack with our 5/5 Karn, and this thing's gonna die anyway. Get in. Jump block Karn. So the only thing I'm really nervous about now is like a board wipe, like a burn down the house would not be great for us, but otherwise. Why do I say the things that I say? Why do I do that to myself? Why would they have a... Okay. Alright, opponent, that's how we're gonna play it. See how you handle one of these. And I'll blow up a treasure and give you a power stone instead. I mean, I guess that's better. Okay, we have an 8/8 trampler and another right behind it. Arcane bombardment. Well, I think we're gonna deny them that. Are we gonna do it? Is Karn and his giant artifact army gonna... Yes! We defeated the slimes! I'm pretty happy with that. I think that's a pretty good representation of what this deck is capable of. But I'll let you decide. Alright, let's take one last look at the deck as I have it, but as always, I welcome your feedback, suggestions, and really this is supposed to just inspire you to experiment with your own card collection in Standard. Let me turn off my little face cam here so you get a better look at my version of Karn's Big Dig, as I like to call it. Alright, so as we've talked about, the 1-drops are Voldaren Epicure and Novice Inspector, which both make artifact tokens, very handy to have around. And we're trying out some Dusk Rose Reliquary, another artifact that can exile something. It's got ward on it, whatever. These are all great because when you have Karn in play, he says at the beginning of your upkeep, add a colorless mana for each artifact you control. So the more artifacts we have laying around, even if they are tokens, clue tokens, or blood tokens or whatever, that just gives us more mana, right? So if we play these on like turns 1 and 2, and we get Karn out on turn 5, then on turn 6, it's very easy to untap with 8 or more, which lets us play our Cityscape Leveler way ahead of schedule, right? Mostly that's what we're trying to do. We can also kind of cheat around that further by using Scrapwork Mutt. When it enters the battlefield, you may discard a card. If you do draw a card, we're mostly discarding our Cityscape Levelers or other copies of the Mutt because we can play more of them out of the graveyard with the Unearth ability. We've also got Demand Answers. Draws 2 cards, which is another great way to cash in those early turn tokens. If we don't really need to keep them around, we can go digging for more pieces. And Reckless Handling can go and find us our Cityscape Leveler or our one of Might Stone and Weak Stone, which is more ramp and removal or card draw. It's just really flexible, but it is legendary, so I only have the one in here. Or we can go find Karn if that's what we want to do. The downside here is that we have to discard something at random, so we might end up discarding one of our Haymakers. But generally that's fine, because Campus Renovation lets us get them back out of the graveyard, or if we do damage to our opponent with Harnessed Snubhorn, same thing. We've also got a little board wipe in here, Brotherhood's End, to tidy up any small blockers, or keep the aggressive red, mono red, or Boros Convoke decks, give them a little timeout, give us some more time to find our pieces here. Ironcrag is a card I really like in Standard right now as well. Pay 2 for a legendary artifact that you can then tap for 1 more. And if you've got Karn out, remember, that'll make a mana just for existing, and then it taps for another 1, so that can lead to some really explosive stuff. That's the core of the deck. In the lands, I've got a few Takasia's Dig Site. The Surveil ability here can also help us move dead weight off the top of our deck, or intentionally put a Cityscape Leveler in the bin where we can reanimate it with Campus Renovation. Some Battlefield Forges, because we have a bunch of colorless cards, or we're not too worried about our own life total here. And then one-ofs of Iganjo and Sokazan and basic lands for the rest of it. Pretty simple structure here. But as we saw in the gameplay, when it works great. Maybe it's a touch too slow for Standard. We don't really have a way to remove a Shieldred. We don't really have a way to deal with a board that is fueled by Virtue of Persistence, right? We don't really have enchantment removal or even great ways to deal with creatures outside of Cityscape Leveler just attacking and turning them into Power Stones. But otherwise, I'm pretty happy with this. I might keep tinkering with it. But like I said before, let me know what you think. Feel free to experiment, riff on this, and come back and leave me a comment with your thoughts. Then, of course, be sure to like this video so I know you're having a good time. And please check out my link for TCG Home. They are the sponsor here, and I think they have a really cool website, and I want to see them continue to grow and do great things with it. So sign up today, and then make sure you like this video and subscribe to the channel so you don't miss the great stories you will only find here on Magic Arcanum. We'll see ya.